पिन कर दो इसको ऊपर, आवाज चेक करना।
Is it fine?
अपना करना ऑन, अपना ऑन करना कोई एक आधा।
Hello, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, ma'am, I will just now.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, very good morning, ma'am. How are you? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So I will just ask Aima sir to test his connection also.
Good morning, sir. Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible. So I'm just trying to connect with the Aima sir now, and we can also check his connection.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Parveen, sir.
Good morning, Ritu ma'am. कैसे हैं आप?
Sir, you are not audible.
Ma'am, please check whether I'm audible now. As far as can anybody else confirm so that we can check?
Good morning, sir. Parveen, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Kema ma'am. How are you?
Fine, sir. कैसे हैं आप?
I am perfectly fine, ma'am.
Okay.
So good to see a lot of people right here just before time. And I think Ritu ma'am needs to check connection at her end. She's not able to hear us out. Yeah, good morning all. Good morning all. Thank you. Thank you for confirming back, dear all. So I would request Ritu ma'am to just check connection at her end so that we are able to communicate.
Hello. Hello. नीचे गिर गया.
Yeah, I put on the, yeah. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, okay, fine.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning, Ritu ma'am. We have Professor Ashok Aima sir also with us now. Formally
Yes,
welcome you,
sir.
sir, for
Good
this.
morning, Rituji, good morning. Good morning. It's a pleasure
How
to
are you,
be
sir?
fine, God's grace. So far, so good. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for joining. Thank you, Parveen, sir, for joining.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Everything is audible to you?
Yeah,
We are audible to you?
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So, all the people are connecting. So, we are blessed that such a renowned dignitaries are with us. Parveen, sir, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Parveen, sir, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
You are not audible, sir.
Ma'am, it seems like whenever we are connecting, you are audible. I am audible to all the audience, but maybe you are not able to hear me.
Parveen sir, within 5 minutes we will start it.
Okay, ma'am.
Um, Esteemed Aima sir, Parveen sir, may I start the session?
Please do. Please do.
Yes, please, ma'am. Go ahead.
To welcome the guests is our Indian tradition. To welcome the guest is our Indian tradition. Today, we are connecting with each other with a mission. Today, we are connecting with each other with a mission. Our special dignitaries are going to give their valuable contribution. Our special dignitaries are going to give their valuable contribution. They are erudite and having very vast vision. They are erudite and having very vast vision. Esteemed Professor Ashok Aima, ex-Vice Chancellor Central University Jammu, Honorable Mr. Parveen Kumar Abrol, Convenor IIC MIET, Assistant Professor, School of Management MIET, Innovation Ambassador and Entrepreneurship Coach, Mr. Manoj Kotru, Estimable Mr. Manoj Kotru, Administrator, Stephens Institute of Paramedical Sciences, Venerated Mrs. Munida, Principal, Stephens Institute of Paramedical Sciences, Mrs. Khima Patient, Vice Principal, Stephens Institute of Paramedical Sciences, and Vice President IIC, benevolent faculty members and IIC members of Stephens Institute of Paramedical Sciences, worthy faculty members and officials of MIET, students of MIET and other institutions, faculty members of other institutions and colleges, my zealous students, and all attendees. An exuberant and fervent morning, everyone. I, Ritu Gupta, Associate Professor, Activity in Charge, Stephens Institute of Paramedical Sciences, and IIC President, Stephens Institute of Paramedical Sciences, on behalf of management and IIC members, hearty welcome you all in the Impact Lecture Session 2, especially our eminent, proficient and distinguished dignitaries, Professor Ashok Aima and Mr. Parveen Kumar Abrol, who have devoted their valuable time for us and our institution despite of their busy schedule. I want to reiterate that our institution is mentee institution and MIT is our mentor institution. And this institution always guides, supports, and mentors us time to time. We are fortunate to have such a renowned and reputed personalities with us. The first speaker of our session is Honorable Professor Ashok Aima, ex-Vice Chancellor, Central University, Jammu. It is both an honor and privilege to introduce a role model, a man of distinction, and a versatile personality, Professor Ashok Aima. Professor Ashok Aima has worked as a Vice Chancellor of Central University of Jammu, with effect from 17th April 2015 to 25th November 2021. Professor Aima has 41 years of experience of teaching, research consultancy, and as a motivational faculty development trainer. He had his graduation in economics and MCom from University of Kashmir and doctoral degree from University of Jammu on the topic manpower and planning. Worked as lecturer in Department of Commerce, Kashmir University from 1981 to 1986 and as reader in the Department of Management Studies, Jammu University and professor in the year 1999. He held position of Dean Faculty of Management 3 times, Rector Udhampur and Kathua campus. Besides being director of Ramnagar and Reasi campus and Patnitop Outreach Center, he also held the post of Chief Coordinator of 9 satellite campuses of Jammu University, besides holding post of Professor and Head of Human Resource Management in Central University. Professor Aima has published more than 100 research papers in national and international journals, besides co-authoring 7 books on various contemporary management themes. He has supervised more than 33 doctoral research programs and is also supervising more than 30 national institutions. He was member of number of committees instituted by state of state and central government, that is Prime Minister GOI, second working on improving cross border relations 2006, core group 7 and frame J&K State Trade Policy 2001, participated in roundtable conference interlocutors appointed by GO1 2010. Professor Aima visited number of countries and foreign universities and State Skyline University, Dubai, Uzbekistan, Sri Lanka, IST, Shanghai, China, Lahore. And besides being associated with various NGOs actively engaged with peace initiative and conflict resolution in J&K state. So we are blessed to have such a reputed and renowned personality with us. I would like to request now the session will be started with Sir. And I forgot one thing. He is as well as member of Global Consultancy Project. He has visited over 60 institutions as chairman, NAC chairman, coordinator, NAC peer team, and as well as chairman of NBA AICTE. He is an active member of various national committees constituted by the MHRD government of Jammu and Kashmir and is on the board of many national and state universities. I would request such an eminent and notable personality to commence the session. I hope his session is going to be an enthralling and mesmerizing and beneficial session. His topic is Institutionalizing Entrepreneurial Ethos, Some Insight. Over to Sir.
Rituji, good morning, and all colleagues who are participating in today's deliberations. I think you've cut into my lecture time by talking. So no, I'm just like anybody else in my pursuit to achieve, because life must have a purpose. For all of us, that should be a driving point. What is that we're looking into the life? So I would say that 3 things are very important in one person's life. That is person, passion, and purpose. This blending has to occur in any person who is kind of a Homo sapien who works under the present dispensation. I was looking at it, why entrepreneurial ethos is that in Indian context, probably for a long time, security of the job has been a driving point in the career profile of the people. That if and that necessarily does not give you the kind of a right what Parveen is going to talk about later. It's not going to give you the possibly proper valuation of your competence, and that competence is as well to be seen in terms of how far it contributes to your aspirations. And if those aspirations are met, what you think you need to deserve, then that's sometimes you are undervaluated. Today you'll ask you if you ask me what's your market price, is it the salary which I'm being paid or which I was being paid as a vice chancellor of Central University, or is that I mean, does that really assesses me in terms of, if only that we're looking that our purpose is to make money in a career and that's it. I think no. I think you have to see it in a larger frame. Three things are very important. Number one is that as a person, what do you do? As a person, how do you help others? And how do you together help your organization? How does that organization eventually help the nation building? We're part of an ecosystem. We're not away from it. Your contribution and not contributing is going to impact the overall economic climate of a country. That's why it's very important that how do you assess yourself? As Swami Vivekananda says, that if you don't respect your own sensibilities, you don't appreciate the others. So first thing is that when I talk of the institutionalizing entrepreneurial ethos, it must start with what am I doing? What am I seeking? And what I am doing and what I am seeking is kind of a journey which must have a purpose. In a lighter vein, I tell you that in India, two things, mostly in the government sector, are very permanent. One is your marriage and the other is your career. And career is like running against a running train. You just run along a running train and latch onto any compartment. That compartment could be a nursing profession, that could be a teaching profession, that could be probably in a government, a clerk, a bank. But latching on that compartment, we sit all along in that compartment. We never see the entire train. I think the life has a purpose to be seen in its holistic dimension. Because that sometimes you miss the opportunities which are there, but you are not possibly aware about that. That's why it's very important to understand. Okay, let's understand like this. Why do we get the diamond? We get the diamond from, first you have to locate that rock which has the potential of the diamond into it. You have to first locate it. And then once you locate it, you take it out. And when you take it out, it's just a stone. It's only when it goes through the process of heat and friction, it starts shining. And once it starts shining, it shines for itself, it shines for others. Even then, I would say that, well, let's say that we're all diamond and keep a diamond at a place, don't touch it for, say, a year. What will happen? It will gather a small layer of dust on it. Don't touch it second year, don't touch it third year, don't touch it for 20 years. Eventually, what would you find is that there is only dust and the diamond is not visible. We can't do it to ourselves. I think God's creation has necessarily made us to be purposeful and productive in the entire societal mechanism. And for a long time in India, we have been only looking to the government jobs which probably sometimes you might be a right person for a wrong job and you might be a wrong person for a right job. How do you overcome that mismatch? That's why I thought let me start with this leadership. Unless you don't build up this argument within you, then we can interface it with the career opportunities. Let's go to the next slide. No, first thing I think it's very important to understand that it's a prayer independent of what you call the religion you belong to. God, give me the courage to change the things which ought to be changed. Serenity means patience to accept the things which cannot be changed, but the wisdom to know the difference. We should know what is the cost of inactivity and the benefits of performance. So you have to understand the difference between when you are capable to contribute, you don't, it has a cost. When you are capable and contribute, it has a dividend. So you have to evaluate your action and inaction. Sometimes you say, oh, what can I do as a alone person? मैं अकेला क्या कर सकता हूँ? That means you are abstaining from an act of performance which you are capable of. And if you don't contribute to you, that means you are even not giving best to yourself. In Zen philosophy, you say that unless you don't give best to yourself, you cannot give best to anybody. So first step is to know the difference between action and inaction. Once we can understand that if I don't act, what would be its cost to me in my career pursuit, in my realizing my aspirations, to my family, to the organization, and to the society, then possibly would be motivated to, will be kind of charged to prepare. I was wondering with you, since you are in the medical fraternity, who would imagine that India will produce the COVID vaccine in the shortest possible time and be the biggest supplier in the world? Today, yesterday only, I was looking at the green hydrogen, the fuel for our automobiles. With the next, they said by 2035, we'll have the petrol will be not be, we will be using the petrol, we'll be using the green hydrogen, which means flexi engine. Who are doing this? There is no divine intervention. This is not the human mind which is at work, which is innovative and which is creative. Who would think that India would launch spaceships and be the biggest now space launcher rockets and make it a commercial venture? I mean, nobody knew it. Dr. Homi Baba was a visionary. Imagine where he has led India to be. That like the type of a confidence you can only understand when you must understand the difference between action and inaction. Next. Therefore, you see, we often talk of what you call the competence and commitment. Competence is a function of knowledge and skill, which comes through education, comes through training, comes through experience. But some people tell me that no, competence is a function of experience. The more number of years you put in an organization, you are supposed to be more competent. I don't think that's a very valid argument. You have to blend it with the education, means the process of learning in your profession. And the skill is like a captain of a ship who navigates a sea ship in the high seas. When there's a storm, he tries to avoid the storm. But when there's a peace in the sea, he gives the best wind to the sail so that he can reach his destination. And commitment comes to you through the confidence and motivation. Otherwise, you will find very few people committed. Why? Because they say, oh, अगर मैंने ऐसे किया कहीं fail हो गया तो क्या करेंगे? Lack of confidence sometimes doesn't get best out of you. So how do you become confident? Is when you experiment. Experiment gives you the kind of a, experiment gives you kind of a learning where you can learn to cope up with the failures and move ahead. That's what, my friends, when we often talk of people need to be competent, people need to be committed. You need to understand that competence is always a function of knowledge and changing. You know yourself. Knowledge keeps on repeating. That's what I am telling you. Look to Indian technological advances. Nobody could have thought of it 30 years back even. That what kind of advances you are making in, for instance, 10% blending of ethanol with the petroleum has made us to save about 25,000 crore of rupees. And who has done it? You and me. The human mind has done it. What you call the the mind which is thinking how can we innovate and move forward. Next. Now look at this. This is very important for all of us. Is your career outcome of a chance or a charity? And is it career based on competence? This is what this is 7 C's. Double C, 2 C's versus 7 C's. Please have a look at it. Is your career an outcome of a chance? Chance means you could be anything. That means your choice of career has not been what you want it to be, but you are there by a chance. Chance can come through a friend, can come through different connections, political connection, monetary connections, by Java, or is it charity? If it's so, then you'll enter into what you call as a dependency syndrome. You are always dependent on somebody else for your own existence, for your identity, for your forward movement. But when your career is based on your competence, that competence gives you the confidence to face the challenges of that confidence makes you creative to beat those problems. Even innovative temper makes you committed person. That creates that commitment and creative develops your character, and that character makes you to contribute to your own self, to contribute to the organization, to contribute to the profession you are in, and eventually it helps in the nation building. Please let us understand we're part of an ecosystem of a nation, and what you do will impact it, what you don't do it will impact it. That's why, friends, you must know how do you work on this. Next please. Now, against this backdrop, see, knowledge is defined as a capacity for effective action, which is something you learn. Knowledge must contribute. Knowledge is not like a non-performing stuff. It's not like a gold chain you keep in a locker and you say, oh, I have the asset with me. No, knowledge must be a performing asset. It must constantly help you to build up your own self-esteem, build up your confidence, build up to see the new career avenues which you must see. That's why it's very important to see the next. Now see what are the different types of the competitive excellence. These are the things which you need to have a look at. Competitive excellence, regenerative excellence. That regenerative excellence means where you are every time looking at what have you missed and you latch onto this. You create a new future for yourself. How do that regenerative excellence helps your institution to grow, to become one of the best institutions in the region, in the country? Very important. And creative excellence, as I said, this I'm giving you the reason by 2035 India will be free from the fuel which we import. So this all creativity, human creativity, and this is you and me. I am talking. There is no foreign element doing it. This is all the Indian mind. This what you call the human ingenuity, thinking mind, which does it. When I look at it, let's go wait for a minute and go back. I was looking at a profile in the healthcare sector. We have, it is estimated that by I think by about next 21st century towards middle of it, healthcare sector will be 8 trillion economy. And in India, it gets about $1 billion. $1 billion is a huge amount of money, remittances every year. And we need about 2 million doctors and 6 million nurses by 2030. This is the Indian demand. But then I was looking at what kind of career path, even in the nursing profession, you can have. I was looking, Parveen ji, I have given you that Word file. You can mail it to them. I was looking at what are the career profiles. There are at least 31 opportunities where you can become an entrepreneur. Not necessarily. Have a look at it. You have certified dialysis nurse, you have legal nurse consultant, you have nurse midwife, nurse anesthetist, nurse case manager, and if the list goes on, there are 31 business opportunities which, having your nursing profession, nursing background, you can become an entrepreneur. This is very important to understand. But the point is, in this time, is what are your personal aspirations? That will drive the entrepreneur. When I was talking institutionalizing the entrepreneurial ethos, it's very important to understand what are your personal ambitions, what are you looking for. वो टिपिकल इंडियन कंसेप्ट में हम कहते हैं कम खाएंगे लेकिन गम नहीं खाएंगे. If that is the kind of an aspirational level with which you want to be comfortable, you want to remain in a comfortable zone, then possibly you don't get best either. So, no human effort is without a risk. No human effort can be without kind of a challenge. You cannot settle down in a comfort zone. Say, ठीक है, जितना मिल रहा उतना मिल रहा. अगर वो आप कह रहे हैं, then you can't complain. Then you can't say that system is wrong, India is wrong, government of India is wrong, government of UT is wrong, my organization is wrong, my colleagues are wrong. No, I don't think that is an argument. Once you define once you have clarity on your personal aspirations, then you possibly look what kind of the business opportunities can you locate, believing that your aspirations blend with your professional qualifications. And as you see, I have just listed out 31 business opportunities, which even in nursing profession you can create for yourself. I have given that you can have a look at it, though it's built upon, and India, the amount of this what you call GDP spread is on the healthcare sector. You see now we spend nearly Ayushman Bharat. You can see how much of money is being given for the patient care. If you give it a multiplier effect, you can see what kind of an opportunity. But then you have to organize how can you become part of this deal. That's very important. That third point is that what is your capacity for the risk? Entrepreneurial ethos teaches us that what's your tolerance for risk, your aspirations, the business, then your tolerance for risk. That's very important. If the answer is yes, then you can think of what do you have the right strategy? Are you strategy means can you want to do it alone, or you want to do it with a partnership? You want to do it form a group? That's very important to understand. And then you must understand in each activity, you understand what is the short-term growth and what is the long-term growth of that business activity. Imagine now, in India, we are talking of the electric automobiles. Now, electric automobiles means that the new employment opportunities, new technology, and new skills required on that. So who are going to be in it? The people who will acquire these kind of professional traits. Once we do that, then probably you can become part of that emerging India where we talk of electric automobiles. Otherwise, you might be a passerby and you sit and I think, entrepreneurship means that what is your capacity to take risk and what is your tolerance for risk. That's very important to understand. I was looking at, if you, in a larger frame, I was part of the new education policy which was being framed by Government of India. We talk of creating entrepreneurial ethos from class 8, class 9. And that entrepreneurship means that we give them that kind of an inspiration that they don't look for a job, they create a job. So then how do the schools get aligned with the colleges and colleges and universities? That will have to work in a partnership. That's why it's very important to understand what kind of a strategy. You might have a right purpose, but you may have the wrong approach to do that. So in that, I suggest that you should always look at what are the ever success story in an area in which you want to do it. For instance, I was looking one of the aspects for in a nursing wide possibly you could be looking at is critical care nurse. For instance, that is listed at number 14 in this business opportunity. Today, the India has affordability, India has capacity to pay, and there's an aging problem. We have now what you call nuclear families. Children are out, parents are in India. There are health issues related. So that creates a kind of an opportunity for those who can address to these issues. For instance, my mother is 95-year-old. We have two attendants, nursing attendants to them doing that. So that kind of a agency can be created, because even in Jammu, I can tell you there are so many people who are looking for the nursing support for their aging parents. So how are you looking? Are you looking only on your job, or you're trying to create a business opportunity for yourself? Then what are the kind of resources? What are the kind of organizational structure you have? Then how are you fitted into that? That's why I was looking at, when you look at the entrepreneurial thought. Let's take an argument. Go to Gujarat. In Gujarat, nobody looks for a government job. If you ask anybody, why aren't you doing a government job, they'll feel insulted. Everybody wants to be what you call a business and entrepreneur. Entrepreneur means if you work hard, you earn dividends for yourself. But then you must have capacity to take risks. There cannot be what you call benefits coming to you without taking risks. That's why, for instance, you can see the missionary excellence. What's the missionary excellence? Missionary excellence is that you have a long-term projection of your career and of the institution. You need to next please. This is also very important. In entrepreneurial level, there are 3 levels of the personal behavioral modification: knowledge, attitude, and behavior. Knowledge is easier to gain, change, but knowledge must change your attitude, and attitude must change your behavior. So you have to transcend from you see, today knowledge is at the mouse of a click of your mouse in anything. But if that knowledge doesn't refine you, if that knowledge doesn't make you to introspect, that are you doing good? Are there better opportunities for you to grow professionally? Can you be, what is entrepreneurial ethos means? Where you drive your own self with your own strengths. Are you doing that? That behavior should change. That's why it's very important to understand there is nothing like you call as a linear behavior character. Behavior must change. If it doesn't change with the times, then possibly there are problems at personal level, at professional level, at even what you call this organizational level. Next. Now, what do we do? How do you come around to develop an entrepreneurship? These are the traits which we say can be acquired. And these, what are they? First thing, we must develop a creative insight. What's creative insight? Creative insight means that if you go to the forest, you don't see only the forest, you see flora and fauna. You see everything in its entirety. That gives you the understanding, the holistic understanding. Once you develop a creative insight, you therefore possibly develop a purposeful mission for yourself. Then you must be sensitive. Sensitivity is biblical saying, which says, do unto others what you would have done to yourself. The point is, what are you seeking for yourself? Sometimes you are very highly insensitive. Yaar chalta hai. What Modi ji said sometime back. Chalta hai. You are part of the ground. That you do not create your own entrepreneurship. When you talk of as individual as society, they are intimately linked. If you think that what you do, it impacts the organization, and that organization impacts the what you call the society. Therefore, see the Japanese, for instance. Japanese were bombed out in 1945 by Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It took them less than 30 years. 30 years to bomb out the Americans on the economic front when they built up the first fuel-efficient car. So, friends, the point is, the argument is, you can't always depend on what you call others for your own development and growth. You have to be self-driven. That's the essence of. That's why you say when you see we have about what 16 lakh schools in the country. We have about 1,100 universities in the country. We have about 60,000 colleges in the country, and we have as many we have how many? We have. I just a second. I share with you. We have about. We have about 917 nursing colleges in India, and 669 are private colleges, 79 are public, private, and 65 are government. There are 2,000 nursing diploma schools. But do these diploma schools give you the kind of 31 nursing entrepreneurial activities which can be initiated in these domains, which are highly paid and are independent, where you can do? There are about nearly 80,000 diploma nurses are produced. We have about 42,000 graduate nurses passing out every year. The point is there's such a huge mass of human resources in the nursing field, but how are they contributing to their own growth and development, or how are that going to help to strengthen our healthcare system in India? Friends, poverty is of two types: poverty of means and poverty of mind. Poverty of means you are the house, the money, the bank balance, and your affluences. That can be overcome. But while there is poverty of mind, that's more vicious. That's why you say in Vedic understanding, समाज का चिंतन आत्म चिंतन की प्रक्रिया से है. Unless you don't introspect yourself, your capacity to introspect and analyze the environment within which you are working, it will be quite limited. That's why it's very important to understand that you can acquire that sensitivity. That sensitivity came to, Ramayana was written by a highway robber. That sensitivity dawned onto him, and he wrote one of the best epics, Ramayana, which is there for thousands of years and will remain for thousands. So there has to be a behavioral modification in terms of giving best to yourself. How can you integrate yourself to this what you call to your career, to the society, to the family? Is vision. Vision means living in the long run, and you must have patience to acquire excellence. That's why Bhagwan Buddha took 30 years to seek enlightenment while he did. Then other thing which is very important for entrepreneurship, what is your capacity to adapt? Adaptive, that means you must be versatile. If you look versatility, I was just looking at it, even in the nursing profession, as it's listed out, there are 31 domains of nursing. How many of them you are versatile? For instance, clinical nurse, oncology nurse, public health nurse, pediatric nurse, neonatal orthopedic nurse, trauma nurse, psychiatric nurse, and likewise pain management nurse. There are so many domains. So what's our level of proficiency in these areas which can further upscale your capability to become an entrepreneur, even in nursing profession? I don't say you go out of it and look, because you already invested so much of time and effort into it. But how can you build up yourself as possibly a job giver rather than a job seeker? And I'm told even in nursing in India, the average salary is around 10,000 rupees per month, maybe plus minus karke, and they work nearly round the clock. I was looking at the data which came through me. But are you worth just 10,000? That's a big question you have to ask yourself. No, I would further say you might be capable to earn 50,000 rupees, a lakh of rupees, but then you have to invest in yourself. That kind of a package cannot come to you today. This is an era of competence gets rewarded. That's very true. Competence and merit. It's a meritocracy society. I can tell you, it has taken me 45 years to earn a kind of a package what I got as a vice chancellor even now. My daughter gets that kind of package. She works in Google in California. Just that much she probably is 1 month's salary what I get in 1 year. And there is nothing like, let me tell you, though we're about 70% of the nursing staff is the female. Let me tell you, today there is no gender discrimination. Today, if you look to the emerging corporate scene in India, women managers, women executives are dominating the scene. Even in academics, they are dominating scene. That's why the point is how much confidence you have in yourself. इकबाल says, खुद ही को कर बुलंद ना कि हर तदबीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से पूछे तेरी रजा क्या. I mean, what is that you are looking at? Is first you have to know it for yourself. That's why it's very important that you must be good in one, but you must be good in others. That gives you the versatility. And versatility means that you are good in your specialization you are, but there are the other specialists. And then of course you must have focus in life. That's why I said in the beginning, what's the purpose of your life? You have to define it for yourself. Other things become secondary. Next. These lay the foundation for your excellence, where you become confident. What is creative insight? Asking the right questions. You have got to ask the question. That's why in Vedic, this what you call understanding of life, they say Chintan. Chintan means what? You question what is around you. Why? Because God has given you a thinking mind. What you call that human ingenuity says what's happening around me, you should be sensitive to it. You can't say that nahi chalta hai, you just pass by as no. Then sensitivity, you have to be sensitive. How can you further upscale yourself is very important. Next. What integrates you with your career, with the profession, with the organization? Vision. What's vision? To develop, it means mentally journeying from known to unknown, creating the future from the montage of fact, figures, hope, dreams, dangers, and opportunities. What is that? You see, how did you get what you call this? When the apple was seen falling from the tree to the ground, that developed your what you call this law of gravitation by simple observation. If you would ask, somebody would say, why if apple is falling down from the tree, not up, goes, kahenge, ye to pagal hai. But the person who tried to analyze the question, why has apple fallen from the tree to the ground, not gone up, created law of gravitation. That's what that is the miracle of the human mind, but provided that human mind works. But that can work when you start analyzing your possibilities and opportunities. And the patience. Patience means living in the long run. That's very important. And next. Next. This is very important to understand that in life you must be always a versatile person. As I said, it implies aggressively pursuing interest outside your own field. Otherwise, comfortable adaptation to change is not easy. Let me tell you, other than our Dr. Jitendra Singh was saying that they have come with telemedicine. And in Doda Badarwa region, just two persons with the technology background links them to the best hospitals in the country. Therefore, the diagnostic understanding and the treatment of is done there on the spot. Can you be part of this day? Can you enter into telemedicine and create your own enterprise? That's a challenge you have to give to yourself, because there's nothing like free lunch these days. You have to earn your lunch. But unless you are settled with that 10,000 package, then possibly you possibly are not giving best chance to yourself. That's why it's very important to understand you have to be very versatile. I see how many of nursing personnel try to take advanced courses in highly specialized areas, which gives them the kind of gives them that kind of competence and capability to realize their own best potential, besides contributing to their own welfare. Today, this is what we call in these days in management, Parveen, multitasking. You have to, multitasking gives you inner strength to not only explore one opportunity, but explore simultaneously different opportunities, which may give you the best dividend. That's very important. And of course, as I said, focus. Focus means what is the direction you give to your life? What is the purpose of your life? You have to define it. Next. And if you blend it around, you can see it. Imagination is more important than knowledge, because once you start drawing your imagination from different spectrums within you as an individual, from your colleagues, from your superiors, from your subordinates, from the patients whom you treat, what happens, that imagination fuels a new knowledge type. As I was saying you today, I don't know, that makes me to feel where the Indian intellect has reached, where the Indian mind power has reached, that by 2030 we might be off from the petrol. Who is doing it? You and me as a thinking mind. So that's why when you start imagining, what are the possibilities I can do? And that takes us back to, as I said, if you talk of entrepreneurship, what happens is that unless you don't say what are your personal aspirations and align them with the opportunities and willing to take risk, the entrepreneurial spirit does not arise. That is the fundamental driving point I was trying to saying again and again. Yes, what happens is that the technological luxuries sometimes which are around us has made us kind of very in a comfort zone. But I think even then, what's important is that quality of dreams determines quality of life. If you don't dream big, you don't act big. You don't act big, you're not willing to take risks in life. If you dream small, you remain small. Then you start with, it doesn't matter. You see, dreaming is not linked to a status, whether you're a vice chancellor, you're a principal, you're a head. No, I don't think so. Dreaming is part of the human behavior, where you can dream big, therefore you are willing to work on. Other day I saw a young IAS girl whose father was a rickshaw puller, and she was studying all the time under the street lamp. Now her dream was not to see her father who was a rickshaw puller, but her dream was to achieve something in life. Therefore she created a purpose for, and she worked in that direction. I think that is legitimately, that's why it's very important. All of us must dream and dream big. वो इकबाल का एक शेर है, है नहीं तेरा नशेमन कसरे सुल्तानी के गुंबद पर, तू शाहीन है बसेरा कर पहाड़ों की चट्टानों पे. Unless you don't want to fly mentally up and up, you will settle for something which might not be your true value, your true worth. That's why it's very important is that quality of dreams determines quality of your life. Next. 3 things which are already aligned with it is sense of appreciation, sense of gratitude, and sense of balance. Please appreciate what is around you. Don't keep on gripping, "Ne mere paas ye nahi hai." There are a lot of things where I find, मैं जी गलत घर में पैदा हुआ था, गलत माँ बाप है, गलत स्कूल मिला, गलत कॉलेज मिला, गलत शादी हुई, गलत बच्चे, सब सारी उम्र वो कहते हैं गलत ही गलत है. Then what time do they celebrate their life? As this fellow says, that you must celebrate your life, because we come in this life only once. Doesn't matter what belief you have, what religion you pursue, but matter of fact means in living, we come only once in this life. So celebrate it. All of you can, you pinch yourself like this. If you pinch yourself, you will have a sensation. The other day, this fellow said that when you pinch yourself like this, you think you are alive. Friends, there are people who sleep in the evening and don't get up in the morning. Nearly 1 million people sleep in the evening, don't get up in the morning. I think we must understand the true value of our life, and we come only this way only once. Therefore, you must have sense of gratitude. Thank God for what you have. Don't crib up. And then sense of balance. You must have sense of balance. If you kind of face a failure, that should not haunt you. If you do something extraordinary, that should not make you imbalanced. Balance means we have a Kashmiri mystic poetess known as Lal Ded. She says, eat balanced and you'll always remain balanced. That's in a Kashmiri, she says it, but that's what it is. Next. Okay. Everyone has a leader in us, provided you discover your leadership in you. Please don't think that you are subordinated to anybody. What is that? Developing new ideas, developing new visions, living by the values, and that idea and vision which influences the others. Every one of us is a born leader. It's only probably try to look to your next to your this leadership. Next. Now, yeah, for an entrepreneurial leadership, it's very important to understand what are the requirements of your job, what are the requirements of the organization, and what are your own personal requirements. It cannot happen that you only look to your own personal needs, disregard to what are the needs of others. That will create conflict in your profession, conflict in the organization, conflict in the society. See what has happened to Sri Lanka. You can see it yourself. That the conflict which is not, it's gone. Sometimes these kind of conflicts go beyond your control. Therefore, your needs must align, must be in harmony with the needs of the others and needs of the society. If your needs are like what you call in medical sciences, if they are like parasitical, if they are parasite, if they are predatory, they will create conflict. The other day I was told that there's a lot of drug menace in our state emerging. Why? There's depression. Why depression? Because there doesn't seem to be any better career opportunities ahead. That we think no, the government must give us the jobs, but there are no jobs. So how do you handle this problem? Classical. I can give you an example. वह रहबर तालीम, वह रहबर खेल, वह रहबर ज़राअत, वह रहबर other things. I don't know how many. What is this? This is that we're subsidizing the living of a person in his most productive phase of life. I mean, when you do your master's degree or a PhD, you are something like 25, 27. And if you come under Rahbar Talim and remain there for next 15 years, that means about 43, 44, 45. 20 years you are doing nothing. You are only getting the stipend. What's Rahbar Talim? What is that? That's a stipend subsidizing you. So that doesn't give you a chance to prove your best worth. It doesn't give best to your own self. How can you lose your most productive phase of your life by doing nothing? That's the worst thing you can do to yourself. That's why it's very important that you need to redefine what are the opportunities you can discover for yourself. Please do that. Please don't be no jo kismat mein likhi hogi wahi milega. I don't think that's a very valid argument. I'll give you a live example from my own community. Among Kashmiri Pandits, if a girl would receive a matrimonial proposal, a businessman who has 5 cars, who has money, who is a or a PM or a that salary everything. So what looks to the where in our say, I don't know how much of time you are in this profession or even as a student. Have you ever thought what are the other opportunities which can come your way for which you have to prepare yourself? That's why the argument is about. But अगर आप आंखें बंद करके कहते नहीं जी यही this is what I need to do, why? Because you are not explore yourself. Please start exploring yourself. Next, please. I think you should not accept the things as they are, they should be, but as they are. That's one thing. Your capacity to approach the problems, not with the past reference, but to present perspective. How can you create future? You can create future when you mentally journey from known to unknown. That's very important. Otherwise, you settle for, a very, very structured parameter. Do you know Indian Constitution has been amended nearly 130 times? That was a requirement because we thought the earlier what you call these acts were not serving our purpose. Therefore, that is exactly what you have to do. You have to also look to your living, your aspirations, your practices. Do you need to shift what you call in automobile? Do you need to shift a gear in your career path? That's very important. You can't drive your vehicle on a single gear. You have to shift the gear as per the requirement of speed, as per the uphill of the road, the traversity of the road. Please shift the gear of your life. That will give you to understanding. Are you giving best to yourself? That's very important. And lastly, next. Now, who are the weak persons? The weak persons are the one who do not attract and retain people around him. I can see the head of the institutions who are there. They must understand that if the people are not drawn to them, they are not attracted. Why? That's why I say the leadership has a persuasive charm in them. Charm through their intelligence, charm through their contribution to the organization, which impresses the others. Inadequate coaching and mentoring. I think I would suggest the head of the institution in this institution, please help your students to navigate on different platforms of even in nursing profession. As I said, there are 31 different domains of nursing specialization, and how many of them they acquire within the syllabus and how much they acquire outside the syllabus. That kind of blending should be done. As I said, the healthcare sector in India with Ayushman Bharat infusion is going to be a $1 trillion economy. And therefore, you need to be an enterprising person for yourself, for your profession. How can you be part of that that cake which is emerging into it? You cannot only.
It's okay.
You cannot only imagine your profession in terms of a salary alone. I think you must imagine your profession in terms of the opportunities which can further upscale you in your profession and in the remuneration you get. Next. छोड़ दीजिए इसको निकाल दीजिए. Next. Come back. Yeah, I think this one is very important, that for the entrepreneurial ethos, the kind of a leadership, first you must be always, you should know what results are of your action. It cannot be like that. Whatever you do, you're not even sure what is the outcome of that. I think every action must be assessed, audited, not even assessed, must be audited, that what efforts you are putting, what are the outcomes of that. Second, you have to be persistent and focused. For instance, for your institution, how can it be one of the best nursing institutes? I was looking at the data of some of the best nursing institutes. Please see where you pitch in with them. Are you comparable? Very good. If you are not, then what are the gaps? Please do a gap analysis in that. And see that what kind of value orientation in curricula, in their practicals, in their patient to nursing, you don't have goals which you revisit every time. How has these Ambanis and Adnanis, other firms, become billionaires or billionaires? Is that they have they have short-term goals, they have long-term goals. Please don't keep single goal life approach your life. Keep on visiting your goals, whether you can upscale them. Very important. Other thing very important is to have a positive image. Failures are part of life. Problems are part of life. I can tell you that after this 1990 migration of Kashmir Pandit community, I was other day in USA. I was called for a lunch there. We had about 70 families. Out of 70 families, 60 families were first timers from Kashmir, from rural areas, who are doing exceptionally well there. What is the purpose? Purpose is that they do not look to their sufferings and exodus and deprivation. They said, okay, this has happened now. How do we move beyond this? They have created their own world there. So I think we have to be very positive in understand. Failures should not give a setback to you, because failures are part of life. Even Lord Rama had to go for 14 years of banishment. Even Prophet Muhammad had to do hijrat. All of us, even Jesus Christ, had to carry his cross. We cannot avoid carrying that kind of experimentation in our life. I think we should be, that can be done only when you are positive. Yes, I have had a setback, then how do you go beyond that? That is what we call in entrepreneurship tolerance for risk. That's very important. Then what are your core beliefs and values? Let me tell you, even in the corporate world, there were 3 P's where we talked about the profit, profit, and profit. When you talk of 2020, I mean the year 2022, what are we talking today now? Planet, people, and profit. See how profit, 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 3 P's of business have been now rechanged to first the planet, then the people, and then the profit. I think that is something you must understand, how the goals are shifted. That's what I said. One must keep on revisiting one's goals in life, short-term goals, long-term goals, and align them with the opportunities which are around you. Next. I think one must have a direction with a focus, with kind of an, you see, human mind is temperamentally very, very creative and innovative. I don't know how much of innovative and creativity we have in our functioning. What is creativity? Creativity is what is good today. How can it be still made better? That is the act of human creativity. That's how you see that technological breakthroughs are occurring. Today you can see this, I don't know, you are better equipped to understand how could we produce this, what you call COVID vaccine in such a possible, I think you change the kind of, from earlier you do through the cell process, now you do through a DNA process. So how could we short circuit production of a vaccine? Because you didn't go for a traditional route, you created a new route through a DNA route, and you see you could produce a vaccine in much shorter time than probably longer time. So the cell process was bygone and taken up. That is the kind of the human creativity. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we should be doing for ourselves. Then the last one I would say is very important. Please communicate, communicate, and communicate. Whatever are the, don't remain a non-communicative person in life, in your family, in your profession, in the society. And I remember this is what President Kalam said in European Union. Probably you would have all heard that, how he relates himself to the being part of a global world. He said there was a Panyamori, a 3,000-year-old Tamil poet who said, "I'm a world citizen, all are my kith and kin." And he quoted, "If there is beauty, if there is virtuousness heart, there is beauty in character. If there is beauty in character, there is harmony at home. If there is harmony at home, then there is peace in the nation. If there is peace in the nation, then there is the order in the world." So we're intimately interlinked to the entire ecosystem. Please don't think that you're alone and you're away. No, I think we're part of the entire dispensation. And that's why you need to walk along with the others, but create your own separate identity. That's very important. That's how the entrepreneur act can be taken on. Next. ये छोड़ दीजिए, let's ये हाँ, I think this is what you must understand is a very important aspect. Capacity for rapid change and flexibility. आप खुद देखिए कोविड में, even today you can see how COVID brought massive disruption in personal life, disruption in careers, disruption in the relationships, disruption everywhere. But yet, from the worst things, the opportunities arise. It brought in the technological integration. Today, you are aligned with the globe through like this. Today, we're doing this webinar through technology. Was it possible 20 years back? No. Was it being used? No. We're always insist on the person-to-person meet. So let us harvest the advantages of the technology. That means you must be willing to adapt to the changes. If you don't, then possibly you're not giving best to yourself. And then you should be flexible. That's very true. वो कबीर का एक दोहा, बड़ा बया तो क्या बया जैसे पेड़ खजूर, पंछी को छाया ना मिले फल लगे तो. You can't be inflexible. Inflexible means you are non-responsive to the others' aspirations, others' emotions, others' interaction. I think no. When you expect others to be good to you, you need to be good to others as well. That's the kind of a reciprocity which has to be created. And that's fundamental argument of an entrepreneurial spirit. That's why the Japanese have succeeded the world over. That they work in the group. They don't look to the personal victory. They look to the team victory. They look to the organizational victory. In Japanese, entrepreneurial spirit, they don't say, "I have done it." They say, "We have done it. We have succeeded. We have failed." Are you part of that endeavor? Part of that team effort? Why you don't see the personal effort but the organizational effort? That's right. Next. चलिए next. Yeah. What is that required from you? Purpose, direction, and meaning. Whatever you do must have a purpose, it must have a direction, and it must have a meaning as well. You must create trust, you must create optimism, and then you must audit your actions. It's not that your actions should not be evaluated. Next, please. Thank you. I thought the last one, you can again go the last one, that single sheet, no. जो आपको ये दिया, this one.
Thank you so much, sir.
I will just project it, sir.
Yeah, just the last.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a mesmerizing and enthralling session.
Yeah, please have a look at it for a second, and then this is the loop you have to look at. You can have a copy of this. When you think that you need to develop an entrepreneurial aspect, integration of these three components have to be there. Your goals, your strategy, and your execution. This is something that you can have downloaded later for yourself. but I'll end up with only one quotable quote. You know, there was a fight between cow and the pig. The pig said to the cow, "Look, everybody likes you and nobody likes me, while I give them everything." The cow said, "Look, I give them while I'm alive, but you give to them while when you are dead, because as long as you live, you don't let anybody touch you." Friends, let us give what we can give and leave rest to the posterity. Because unless you don't contribute to your own personal growth, with that, through that growth to the organization's growth, through that growth to the nation's growth, I think we'll create a kind of a conflicting situation. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
So much insightful session, sir. Thank you so much for delivering such a wonderful session.
I think it was more a delight for me to meet so many colleagues across whom I have probably seen the first time. It's always good to be communicating and sharing your perspectives of life, your profession. Let me tell you honestly, I never knew I'll be a teacher that time, because I had qualified IES, I had qualified KS written and JK Bank and whatever it is.
Right.
But once I came in this profession, I said, if I entered as a ordinary teacher, I should not end up as an ordinary teacher. And
Absolutely.
God has been kind. I have worked hard for that. And that's how possibly all of us must look at that. If you entered into a profession, you need to outshine for yourself, so that that shyness brings that brightness in lives of others as well. Thank you.
Perfect, sir. You are a role model to all of us, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for such a mesmerizing and enthralling session. I hope all the attendees' knowledge is enhanced and now everyone is acquainted with institutionalizing entrepreneurial ethos, some insight to a great extent. And all the attendees will surely take benefit from this session. And we would like to have more such sessions further too, sir. So I guess there are some queries also. So I would
So
like to
there, if I would like to respond to queries if there are. So.
thank you so much, sir. We are really feeling very blessed. So I would like to request Mrs. Joyce B. Singh, Assistant Professor, Stephens Institute of Paramedical Sciences, and IIC Social Media Coordinator, to kindly put forward the questions of the attendees. And then after that, anyone can ask the questions among faculty members or students. So
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Myself, Joyce B. Singh. I'm Assistant Professor, Stephen College of Nursing. So just let me the chat box one if someone has any question. So there's no question right now in the chat box.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
If anyone want to ask any question, can ask directly. I think, sir, there's no question.
Fair enough. No issue.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Parveen, is that fine? I can take off.
Yes, sir. I think Ritu ma'am must have organized a formal vote of thanks for your session.
Sir, does entrepreneurship can be built in a person? I think there's a question. Entrepreneur, yes. What's entrepreneurship? Is essentially innovating something new from known to unknown. That's what the classical argument of entrepreneurship is about. That how can you mentally journey from known to unknown to discover something new? As I gave you just now the example, 2 years back we don't know that how ethanol can be used with the blending of petrol. From 10% we are going to 20%. So what is that entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurs is seeking something new product, new innovation, new modification, even in the existing work system. There are 4 different ways of where you can create. Either you create a new, for instance, let me tell you, J&K is an agri zone. You know, lavender has come very recently as a cash crop. That is one of the areas which till yesterday we did not know how to do it. Therefore, what is seeking new? You see, it's only the human mind which can travel from known to unknown. As I said, no, law of gravitation came from known to unknown. Why did the apple fall down? Created that curiosity. So unless that curiosity in human temper is not there, that means you are not satisfied with the existing. You think, no, there has to be something more into it. That makes your mind very creative, innovative, seeking, what you call seeking. That spirit of seeking beyond what is known itself is an entrepreneurial act. That's what I am trying to say. अभी ये देखिए जो हम कह रहे हैं कि 2035 में फ्लेक्सी इंजन्स आएंगे जो will replace the. This is only when you are seeking, you are not satisfied with the present petrol-driven engines. So you say, no, how can it be further improved? So which create totally an ethanol-based, which will create something like for 1 liter for 70 rupees and 1 liter can drive out to 400 kilometers. This is the human curiosity. That's what I'm saying. That's from the what you call Paleolithic era. We are now today discovering water on the Mars. It's only human mind. There's nothing like. Yes, this another point. What I think entrepreneur spirit has to start from home. Has to start from school. हम क्या उनको कहते हैं या आप डॉक्टर बनिए या इंजीनियर बनिए या क्लार्क बनिए या बैंक क्लार्क बनिए. This is the orientation. I think that orientation has to change right from the home. I am telling you, in my home, I don't tell my child now to do a government job. No, this entrepreneur spirit, it's a culture. Let me understand this way. It's a sociological, cultural variant which has to be developed in a child right from the preschool days. That look for what are your capabilities and how can you make those capabilities as your life career path. What has happened even now, our parents say no, go for a government job, go for a secure job. That culture has to change, right? It has to change at home, it has to change in the school, it has to change in colleges. Otherwise you can see recently J&K government has given I think crores of rupees for the starts up in colleges and nothing is coming out of it. Why? Because the students are not culturally and emotionally oriented towards entrepreneur act. That's the point. So I think we need to create a culture, and culture is not a single shot. Our culture starts from home to the school to the colleges. It has to be that is the kind of a connect which has to be created into it.
Perfect, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any
Right.
other question? Joyce, ma'am?
No, there's no other question.
Yes. Students, if you have any query, just ask now. And Joyce, ma'am, kindly say other questions.
Since Parveen is our part of our incubation center head, if there's something that can get rooted to me, but let's think that everybody has to define the purpose of his or her own life. That should be the starting point. Other things are complementing, in which you can help, Rituji, in which Madam Cole can help. That's a helping point. But the idea is, what kind of a purpose you want to lend to your professional life in the journey of your life is that should be a starting point. Other things are complementing points, but unfortunately we make complementing points as the driving points. That's why we miss the issue. You have to first start the what is that you want in your life. There has to be a purpose, and that purpose can be complemented by so many things.
Right. Absolutely, sir. Very rightly said. As the passion has to come within, and as far as the entrepreneurial skills, they can be learned, they can be developed by anyone who has the passion for it.
Absolutely, those are acquisitive traits. Accounting, the technology, they can be acquired any point of time. But the first
Right.
thing is, what is that you want to do? That's the point. And don't tell me that no government has to give it to me. No, you have to give it to yourself. That's the point I'm making. I told you the classical cases of my own community, where people would only think of government jobs, even petty jobs, and settle it for the life. Now
Right.
today in our community, nobody looks at the government jobs. Why? Because they say merit does not get compensated in the government job. You might be the brilliant, but you might be at a position which is underpaid, which does not satisfy you, which always keeps you, what you call, नहीं साहब मेरे साथ ठीक नहीं हो रहा. This is exactly a reflection of that you might be at a wrong place even if you are a brilliant person. So today, competence must be awarded, and for that you have to work. Competence has to be awarded. And competence, आपको पता है इंडिया में भी आज the other day I was looking at, even in India today, people are paid as much as 30 crore rupee a year in the corporates. That means 2.5 crore रुपये उनको महीने की सैलरी मिल रही है, and they have got it for themselves. Nobody given to them. My young friends and the students, please start believing you and start acquiring that competence, which gives you the best dividends in career path, in your personal life, and in your professional life. But you will have to work for it, as I said. Nobody gives it to you,
Right. Absolutely, sir.
right?
So I think there are no more questions, Ritu ma'am. So we can formally give a vote of thanks for Ashok sir.
Rest of the questions you can answer. I know you.
Yes, yes. I'll take them up, sir. I'll take them up.
Now, yes, students, teachers, if you have questions, please ask. Joyce ma'am, is there any other question? Dhruv's question is resolved.
No, ma'am, there are no other questions.
Akash has asked, who can we make, sir, can we make people willing to come forward? Means, can we change the mindset of the people regarding this?
I think this question is similar to what you asked before.
And then I'll give it, I see a lot of Muslim girls into it. There is a Quranic saying which says, unless you don't change what is within yourself, nothing
Right.
will change for you. So
Exactly.
and that change comes when you realize your own, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. You have to assess that. So you have to change for yourself. Yes, environment should be enabling. That's a fact. See, Manmohan Singh came as a finance minister in Narasimha Rao's time, and we started with a liberalization process. So that was an enabling environment. But those who started with the corporates started their own venture. So you can create an enabling environment. But the point is that you have to first assess what needs to, how do you adapt to the change? Let's understand one thing. Change is a natural phenomena. Karl Marx has said that change is a natural phenomena. To some, it is subconscious, to some it is conscious. Some people sleep the change. They don't. वो कहते हैं कि वक्त बदल गया, but भैया वक्त बदल गया, आपके लिए क्या बदला वो तो बताइए. How have you responded to that change? आप यही नहीं कह सकते कि वक्त बदल गया. जी बदल गया मान लिया, पर आप बदल लिया, आपके लिए क्या बदला? So you have to you have to converge to a process, and change is a natural attribute. आप खुद देखिए, आप नर्सिंग मेडिकल में है, earlier the lifespan was just 47 में, हमारे lifespan was just about what 41 42. Today the lifespan has got stretched to 74 75. 60-year-old man says still I'm young, but those 40-year-old men would say I'm old. So changes are very natural. So how do you interpret those changes. How do you adapt to those changes at personal level will be more important, right?
Thank you so much, sir. Is, yes, is there any other query? Is there any other query, Joyce ma'am? Is Akash query solved? Is
No, ma'am.
Akash is asking if he has an idea. He was thinking about the huge amount of plastic waste. If there will be an organization who provide job to the people along with PPE kit and so on as to protect them from infections.
Very true. What I would suggest him immediately, Parveen would suggest him that, but he needs to get in touch with the DIC, District Industry Center, the nearest District Industry Center, and put up this business proposal. It will have its vetting. If it has a practical viability into it, surely they will do it. But it can be done. There's nothing that you see. Business ideas should always emerge. It's not that all the business ideas are successful, but some of them which are worth it, because these days there's a huge focus on environmental protection on the greenery. So anything which helps us to stop the use of plastic, we have come to a single use. Now even single use has been banned. I think it will be a welcome idea, but he needs to get immediately in touch with the DIC or even EDI, which we are here. Or Parveen, you can help him out and find out which are the agencies which are looking into it. Surely.
So, sir, at the next session where we are going to discuss about the
You take care. Yeah, you take care. You take care.
and the product market fit, I think
Thank you so
there
much, Akash.
would be
Very nice question. So there were some people who were having questions, but they have not written in the chat box, I guess. So if anyone is having any question, kindly ask. You can ask directly also. So please carry on. So we have to continue the next session too. So we are so blessed that such a renowned personality is with us, and he is
My
clearing
pleasure.
all our
My pleasure. My pleasure.
doubts.
No. Right? Parveen, should I take leave now?
Yeah, thank you, sir, for joining.
My
Thank you so much.
pleasure.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Thank you. Good day and best of luck to all of you. And let me wish best bright future for the young students who are enrolled in this institute. Maybe they become very productive and purposeful partners in the nation building exercise while they look for their own career. Thank you. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So, I hope everyone's knowledge is enhanced. Now, our session will be continued by the most eminent and renowned personality who always guides, cooperates, and supports us. He is Mr. Parveen Kumar, convener IISc MIET, Assistant Professor, School of Management MIET, Innovation Ambassador, and Entrepreneurship Coach. He always helps us like scaffolding and uphold whenever we require it. Being a mentor, Mr. Parveen always offers a helping hand. Words are less to delineate his personality. I am going to give a brief introduction of this renowned personality. Mr. Parveen Kumar Abrol has over 14 years of experience in industrial project management, business development, quality assurance, design thinking, innovation, and academic administration. He is Master Business Administration from University of Jammu J&K and has qualified NET in management. He has a bachelor's degree in electronics and Communication from Sardar Vallabhbhai National Institute of Technology, Surat, Gujarat. He has worked on a variety of projects of national repute for customers like defense research. Sorry. He has worked on a variety of projects of national repute for customers like Defense Research and Development Organization, Armament Research and Development Establishment, and Research and Development Engineers. His research interest areas are entrepreneurship, operations, and marketing management. He has trained and mentored more than 500 students at MIET and delivered extension guest lectures.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. And let me now start with the session. So, all of us have been talking of entrepreneurship as an abstract concept. There are many ideas that come abstractly to our minds. There are many things that we think that it should be like this rather than this. So, when we visit any place, when we visit any office, when we visit any a location, we think that something can be better than what it is. Yes,
Parveen
ma'am.
sir, I think I was not audible at that time. So am I allowed to speak about you once again if you allow me?
I think, ma'am, we are running short of time. So I think all of us need the concept to be taken care of first. So you have already talked about a lot of things about myself also. So that is not a very big thing. I'm a very normal human being, and any student can approach me for any kind of guidance, mentoring, and support. Right. So am I allowed to
I
continue
guess
with the
they.
session?
Sure, sir. I'll
Okay,
repeat
great.
again after your session.
Yeah, sure. So students must be coming across various ideas. Just now, Akash shared one idea, and he wanted a validation whether this idea can be good or not from a senior person like Professor Ashok, or from me, or from other people. But as far as the entrepreneurship concepts are concerned, there are some tools and tricks that can be used to understand whether you are solving the correct set of problem with the correct set of solution or not. So that is what is problem solution fit. So a solution that you provide solves the problem for the sanitation also. It solves the problem for the sanitation workers also. Very simple idea which Akash has given, but again, it sensibly solves the problem of sanitation as well as the sanitation worker. But till the time we use all these tools, we are not sure whether this idea is going to work or not. So let's work on this particular principle with the following tools that I want to share. So before we start, I want to tell you what a startup is. It's a temporary organization and not a smaller version of a big company. Why a temporary organization? Because it keeps on changing. The startup changes as per the customer requirements. The in search for repeatable and scalable business models, the startup continuously changes itself to achieve greater opportunities as well as greater results. So there is a link which I have given to all of you, that this link can be used to understand the startup owner's manual, and there are various tools which are available, which we are going to discuss during the presentation. So I'm not going to this link right now. Customer development is the first phase. It's a process to organize that search for repeatable and scalable business models. So when we were talking about, when Akash was talking about a business idea wherein sanitation can be done by the sanitation workers, plastic waste can be collected. So in his mind was the customer. That is, first of all, people who are living in the vicinity, they would be benefited. So they would be the customers. Then the benefit to the customer is going to ensure that this particular idea is going to be repeatable and scalable business model. Repeatable means not only in say one location. Say you launched this idea in the Mira Sahib, and then you repeated that same idea in, say, Arispura, and then you repeated that same idea in the Trikuta Nagar, or you repeated that same idea in the Gandhi Nagar. So that is going to give you or yield benefits. All people are going to like it because nobody likes waste. And even people who are rack pickers, if they are provided with the PPE suits, they would be having better health management for themselves. So there are basically 4 stages of customer development. First is customer discovery, which talks about who are the real customers of my idea. So if I have thought of a particular idea, so who are the real customers of my idea or going to use it? Then is the customer validation, which means that I have just thought of, I'm just thinking that these are my customers, but do they truly are my customers? When I ask for money, when I take my idea to the market, so whether they are going to really use my product, that is the customer validation. Then third top concept is the customer creation. So customer creation means once you have identified the validated customers within the particular zone, say Mira Sahib or Arispura or Trikota Nagar, how can you scale it more? How you can create more number of customers so that your product meets the requirement of most of the customers in that area. And then comes the company building. So which means that your idea has traversed through these 4 stages till it can qualify to be a startup. So first is always the customer in the center. The idea which you are going to solve, whether it is really going to help anyone or not. If it is going to help, yes, then it's a good idea. If it is not going to help anyone, then I think it is not worth working on that idea. Maybe you need to change your idea to a little bit concept so that there is a customer who gets benefited from your idea. So Akash has now shared, I have a query where we will get the money which is going to be paid to the workers. Perfect. So Akash, as I said, the money comes from the customer. Okay. So money means somebody who is interested to buy the product or buy the service that you provide. So you must have heard of Urban Clap. So Urban Clap is a concept wherein you get plumbers, you get small household chores duly booked by the ease of your mobile phone through an app or through a website. So do you think there would be customers in your area for this? Why we need to find plumbers or this thing in a city? Like you just go to the nearby shop and you'll be able to find all the kind of support for plumbing and other kind of things. But these kind of ideas are working in areas like metro cities like Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, because there people do not have time to go to the mom and pop stores and find out for a plumber or all that stuff. So they can easily book a service through Urban Craft. So always that customer is going to pay for your product. So that is what I wanted to share with you. Now next is let's move ahead. So Steve Blank says, get out of the building. What does that mean? That basically means is that you are thinking of an idea while sitting on your desk or cabin right now on in front of your computer. You're watching our session and you're just asking questions and refining your idea. But believe me, all this is not going to help you make a startup. help you become an entrepreneur. This is just ideation. This is just your thinking things, asking things from people. So get out of the building is the concept. That is, you have to go to the customer, find customers, find out what customers want, whether your idea is going to help anyone, whether your idea is going to help 10 customers at least. Are there 20 people who say to your idea that, yes, I'm going to buy this product or service for say XYZ rupees? Even 100 rupees a person buys your service for, then it is a valuable idea. Okay. So let's move ahead. So customer discovery happens in these 4 particular steps. First is state your hypothesis. So when I take this example of Akash, so the hypothesis would be that people would like to have their plastic wastes managed by an agency with people who are managing their cleanliness and hygiene. Okay, so this kind of a hypothesis you made, a product idea or a service idea. Now this hypothesis you are going to test it in the market, in the society, or in the customer base. So maybe your college is in Mirasab and there must be some village nearby, so you can go test the problem over there, that whether people are going to buy your idea for this, whether people are having a problem of this plastic waste in that area. So you see that some XYZ place that plastic wastes are there, and then you go and inquire in that panchayat, speak to people, and people are saying, yes, we are having this plastic waste and we want to get rid of it. Then you test your solution. Okay, the solution which you have suggested, you go ahead and test your solution and see whether customers are happy with your solution or not. If they are happy with your solution, then you pivot or proceed. Pivot means sticking to your same concept with new strategies. As in, the next time you provide that particular service, you develop a set of costing, you develop a set of requirements, and you get a small contract with the panchayat office, and say with a single phone call, your people go and get rid of that plastic waste of that village. And proceed means that if your idea did not work, if your customer was not happy with the idea which you built, that your plastic waste was not managed well or something, villagers were not happy with the way you manage the plastic waste, in that case you need to proceed over to the next level of the idea. So you're not leaving the base idea, but you're developing your idea to the next level so that your customers uh, are happy, and you discover like who are my real customers and what my customer want. So that is why this stage is known as customer discovery. Let's proceed ahead. So hypothesis we have done. Now comes the problem solution fit at this stage. So what happens when you discover a customer? You are able to identify whether the problem of the customer is solved by the particular solution or not. If it is solved, then you have developed a problem solution fit. But if you're not able to solve it using the existing solution, then you may have to proceed ahead with fine refinements to ensure that you achieve the problem solution fit. At this stage, it is very important to share with you, my dear students and faculty, that we need to develop a small prototyping exercise that is known as minimum viable product. Minimum viable product talks about minimum cost. You should be able to deliver the service and the product, which means if you want to exhibit this particular idea which Akash has shared, so we should be able to rather than buying a suit, we can hire the suit so that it can be low cost, or even we can borrow it from some of the people who are already using it, so that we can reduce the cost of testing this idea. That is why minimum viable product, minimum viable service that you would be providing should be minimum cost. So when you delivered that particular service to that particular village, so you have done an act of prototyping. You are trying to solve that problem with a particular solution, in the form of a prototype. Now you have got out of the building, you went to the customers, you have solved their problems, and now you are in a position to understand the customer better, right? Then comes the customer archetypes. Like there are various types of customers. There are end users, there are influencers, there are recommenders, there are decision makers, there are economic buyers, there are saboteurs. What does this mean? Like if you go to a village, so the panchayat, the people who are the panchayat sitting in the panchayat office may be the influencers and recommenders and the decision makers. However, the economic buyers may be the individual people uh, who are like who want their plastic waste to be managed, or who want the end users will be actually the people who are staying in that vicinity where the plastic waste is getting accumulated. So that is why it is very important when we do the customer discovery, like what kind of response is coming from influencers, recommenders, decision makers, economic buyers, and end users, so that we are able to refine, pivot or proceed concept into the idea development. Okay, so let's move ahead now. So let's discuss about a problem solution fit, which basically generates value for the customer. And because of this value generation, the customer pays you money. Because if there is no value generation, nobody will pay you money. And if you don't get money, your startup idea is not viable anymore. It is of no use. It is just to be discussed, so not to be implemented. In case you want an idea to be implemented, it should have a value generation through a right problem solution fit. So first stage we have already discussed, that is customer discovery. Now is the second stage is customer validation, which is product market fit. We are going to discuss it in a later stage. And once you have achieved both these stages, then comes the scale. Scale means the customer creation, wherein your company is operating not only in the your region, it operates maybe in the northern region of the India, in multiple cities, or in all multinational cities across India. All that can be achieved in this three-step process. So problem solution fit basically indicates that you have validated with the minimum backwards and develop your product in the minimum viable cost, so that you are developing that MVP maybe at the cost of say 400 rupees, and that with 100 rupees profit you're going to sell it to your friend or whatever customer is. So that is what Brand Cooper has exactly said. So you have to understand the degree to which the customer is willing to buy your product. And value assumption is a test whether a product or service really delivers value to specific customers once using it. So if there is no value, as I have discussed earlier, there is no purpose of that particular product. It is a useless product. Like Google Glass was, I think, was a very talked about product, wherein people have invested heavily. Google has invested heavily in the development of that particular product. But what happened? There were no buyers for that particular glass. People found it funny and irritating while using it for normal work activity. So it got flopped. The whole project went into the dream zone. Why? Because people did not find value what designers had thought of. So people thought, designers of the Google Glass thought that this would be of great value to the customer, and they are going to charge this much amount of money for them from the customer. But when it actually reached to the hands of the customer found it like, I have spent more money and I have not derived the kind of value that is expected out of this particular product. So that is why it flopped out. So three prime questions you have to ask. Is the identified problem real? So if I go back to Akash Sharma's problem statement that plastic waste, is the problem real? Yes, it is definitely a real problem, and all of us are facing it. And there are organizations at the government and private level operating to mitigate this problem with different means and processes. Like municipalities are banning the plastics, single-use plastics in many areas, so it is actually affecting it. So they are trying to solve it in their own way. But Is that solving it? No, it has not solved it yet, because people are still using it. There are so many things like the wrappers, toffee wrappers, and milk packets. Still, many plastic things are appearing. So the problem is for sure real. Will the target customer pay? That's a good question. Will the customer pay for getting their plastic waste managed? uh, I'm not very sure that whether people are going to pay it, because they think in Jammu, at least people will believe that we have paid taxes to the government, and we have paid money to the municipalities, and they are going to solve this problem of plastic waste. It is the duty of the municipality to ensure cleanliness in my area. So I used to think that way, but when these autos started, this garbage collection autos started, they started charging ₹100 from each household. Initially, people were not paying it, but now people are paying those ₹100 because they believe that this is a better system to manage their waste. Otherwise, this waste will keep on lying for quite some time, maybe a week or 15 days in front of their homes. So that is why people started paying for that particular. So definitely, customer is going to pay for this kind of concept. Third, can the problem be solved? ये सब करने से problem solve हो रही है? Yes, that is the real question. If आपके idea से problem solve हो रही है, then it is a problem solution fit. Then it is generating the value for the customer. So I think I have a couple of questions from Nazia. How your priorities changed when you are first started? Okay, great. So, beta, as I understand your question, that how priorities changed when you are first started is basically change. So the moment you start with a problem statement, you identify that problem statement from your own perspective. So from your own knowledge, from your own set of mental model. But when you go across, out of the building and talk to people, you are going to find different perspectives to the same problem. You're going to find new definitions to that same problem, and the problem will get developed in the form of a problem statement. That is what is going to help you in managing change. So the moment you are listening to people, you are adapting to the particular problem, then your solutions are also going to change. So that is how your initial solution might undergo change as you step out in this process of value generation. The final output should be the value generation for the customer. Because if there is a value generation for the customer, then only the customer is going to pay you back with the amount that is specified, right? So then Akash is saying, when problem is not solved, we need to try new idea that will solve it. Yeah, may not be exactly or vibrantly new idea, maybe a slight modifications of your existing idea. And believe me, all these are dynamic. Our situations are dynamically changing. Like COVID happened, the situations changed, people adapted to new kind of technologies, and we solved the same problems of our teaching learning in different methods. COVID happened, nobody can go to the school and college, so online learning started, and that solved the problem to a certain extent. So what is unique about your business, Sakshi? I could not understand your question. Okay, no problem. Let's move ahead to the next slide now. So from idea to problem solution fit, it is a very important concept. Students, please hear it properly, because all of us have many ideas. If I ask, go with a mic and a camera to say particular market in Jammu and ask solutions to problem, there are hundreds of people who are going to share their idea with us, because we are human beings, we are logical thinking people, and for any problem we are going to give our version of idea to solve that particular problem. But how that idea can be converted into problem solution fit, which solves the problem of a customer and generates value for the customer, these are the certain steps. So first is brainstorm possible customers. Okay, so for people who are going to buy your idea, possible customers, brainstorm with them, sketch the multiple lean canvases. So I'm going to share this lean canvas with you. Okay, so don't worry, I'll be telling you how to use this lean canvas also. Prioritize where to start. Like when you particularly develop a solution to an idea, so you have to prioritize like what you have to start as a solution, which solution you have to provide first as the minimum viable product. Then you document your plan A. Okay. Then second step is get ready to interview customers. Assemble a problem solution team, some couple of people, maybe your friends or whoever are going to operate. Get a head start on channels and find the prospective customers and start questioning them. So interview them whether this particular problem is going to solve their, whether this solution is going to solve their problem or not. Then you develop a testable hypothesis, you formulate it, and conduct problem interviews. Do you understand the problem? So the problem interviews basically helps us in refining the problem statement itself. The problem statement which I have declared, whether that problem statement is the real problem or not, that is going to be discovered in this process. So when you talk to different customers, people will say, no, this is not the problem. The real problem is something else. The real problem is the plastic producing factories in the vicinity. The real problem is the plastic import that is happening in the city. The real problem is the kind of packages which are coming in tons and tons in the form of potato chips and many other things, which is the real problem, because people are going to eat it and they are going to spread it around. Or the real problem is the habitat or the habits of the people that people spread this kind of plastic waste. So all these things are going to come out in this problem interview stage. Then there comes the solution interview stage, wherein you build a demo, formulate the testable hypothesis, conduct solution interviews. So do you have a problem worth solving or not? Which means that you are going to discuss the solution with the same set of customers with whom you had done a problem interview, and whether they think that this particular solution or a set of solutions are going to solve this problem or not. If you are able to solve the problem and customers are happy with your solutions, then you are going to have a breakthrough and your idea can be converted to a problem solution fit. So that is it as far as the idea to problem solution fit is concerned. So the key principle is get out of the building. And this is what I am going to discuss with you, the stage, the canvas, the lean canvas, and how to develop it. I'll tell you, but remember the counting: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you must be wondering why I'm telling you to remember the counting. That it's like which thing you need to fill first. So in this tool, in this lean canvas or business model canvas, the first thing that you need to fill is number 1, then the number 2, then the number 3, then the number 4, then the number 5, then 6, then 7, 8, and lastly 9. So first is the customer segment or the early adopters. So which customer segment you are targeting? Second is the what is their problem and what are the existing alternatives that people are taking prior to your solution. Then third stage is what is your unique value proposition or high level concept which is going to solve their problem better than the existing alternatives. So once you have identified the unique value proposition, then you deliver or define the complete solution to the problem. Now, how that solution is going to reach the customers, what channels are going to be employed, whether you're going to employ people who are already employed with the say municipalities, or you're going to use contractual services of the people, or you're going to employ the autos who are going to collect the garbage, or whatever channels you create. After that, what are your revenue streams? How you're going to earn money? So if you are going to operate in a particular manner, how much revenue you are going to earn? So if you handle one customer or one region, how much revenue you are going to create? Once you know how much revenue you are going to create, you have to identify the cost structure in dealing with that particular customer requirement. How much money you are going to spend? So remember, if you want to be viable, your revenue stream should always be higher than the cost structure, so that you earn some profit to keep running. Because if cost structure is higher, your revenue streams are lower, then you may need to dump a lot of money in the initial phases of the startup. And most startups are doing it this way. They are catching hold of big investors, and they are dumping a lot of money because their cost structures are pretty high and their revenue streams do not get developed in the initial period. But I do not believe in this kind of a concept. I believe that your startup should be providing unit profitability, which means if you serve a single customer, you should be able to earn a revenue stream which caters to the cost structure of the particular problem statement. Once you have achieved the cost structure, then you go on to the key metrics. Key metrics means what are the key matrices or the measurements that you need to perform to ensure that your product or the problem is getting solved using the product or the solution that you have provided. So you keep on monitoring those metrics. It's like a dashboard. Like when you drive a car, you when you plunge in on the speed of on the accelerator, the speedometer is going to tell you like what speed you're driving. Based on the speed, you're going to control your speed of the car. So if there is a speed limit of 80 kilometers per hour, you'll be maintaining speed according to the speedometer. So speedometer is a key metric. It's a key metric which identifies and tells you whether you are going as per speed limit on the way on the road or not. Like that, your startup, your idea will have key metrics like how many customers you have resolved, how much is the volume, and all those metrics is going to tell you what is your profitability, whether customer is happy with your solutions or not. So all those key metrics, once you define, that is going to help you in the long run. Then comes unfair advantage. So we'll discuss about it later, but this is also one of the important concepts. Okay, so there is a question: is this possible in nursing that we can use this get out of the building segment in our nursing services? Believe me, if you don't do it, you're not going to expand your idea. Like I'll tell you a very simple example of nursing. Say this out of the word file which I'm going to share with you, which Aima sir has taken out for all of you, the 31 nursing ideas, entrepreneurial ideas, 31 entrepreneurial ideas for a nursing profession. So let us take any one. So legal nurse consultant. Okay, so this is a very simple idea, and it talks about for nurses who are detail oriented and love to dive into the details of the patient file. Becoming a legal nurse consultant or LNC can be a great business idea. An LNC is a consultant that offers expert advice for legal cases. An attorney might consult with a legal nurse consultant to better understand the facts of their case, or an LNC might be asked to analyze testimony in case of a legal case to look for errors. So, very simple idea, legal nurse consultant. So, if you want to become a legal nurse consultant, you can be talking to advocates who are dealing with the medical legal cases, or you are going to talk to the hospitals. See, every case is a medical legal case, let me tell you, because there are so many accidents happening, there are so many problems which are happening in today's world. And I believe 10 years back the world was better to live than what we are living in today. I'm watching so much of news which is so negative, and there are so many medical legal implications. There are insurance clauses, there are many other things, and all those insurance companies, all those medical legal banking services or advocates need the assistance of a person who is the operating in that domain. You're getting a point? So this particular idea, when you go out of the building, you can implement like how many agencies need it in this particular area. Say you want to operate in the domain of say Arispura as a tehsil. So all the cases of that particular tehsil, you're going to get aligned yourself with the Araspura court, so district court, and accordingly you are going to understand whether this particular business idea, if you set up a LNC, whether it is going to help you or not. I hope I have answered your question, Ishta.
Yes, sir.
Sure. So let me move ahead with the next set of slide. So 3 phases of customer development. So as I shared, if the y-axis is the customer and x-axis is the time, so if you find the problem solution fit right at this point of time, and you found like this solution is going to work for this kind of problem, initial 12 months you may have only 40 customers, and those 40 customers are within the village area which is nearby, or within the your own area. Then in the 24 months you're going to achieve product market fit with the 400 customers. So this is like validation process, wherein you are going to identify your product solution with the market fit. So around 400 customers would be there by that time, and then you scale it up and then reach the 4,000 customers. So this is how it goes into ideation stage, is like where you make that smaller activity work. Then you validate that concept with the 40 and 400 customers, and then you do the execution part, which scales your idea to more than 4,000 customers. Got it? So I move on to one very important concept of value proposition canvas, which tells you how to identify whether your problem is giving, whether your problem solution fit is generating any value for the customer or not. So this particular model it talks about 2 zones. Okay. So first zone is this left zone, which is a square divided into 3 areas, and another is a circle, which is the right side zone, which is divided into 3 areas again. So I'm just going to give you an example. With the help of this example, you'll be able to understand the value proposition canvas. So value proposition is on the left side and customer segment is on the right side. So this is for the cab services example. Suppose all of you might have used Ola Uber when you travel to Chandigarh or Delhi. So how this product and service created gains for the customer, reduced the pains of the customer, and what customer jobs it could achieve. So whenever you are developing any value proposition canvas, you have to write what kind of product and services in this column, in this particular zone. Like if we are developing a business value proposition canvas for the Akash's idea, so you have to write what exactly you are going to do, what you're exactly you're going to do. So you can write here, achieve getting rid of the plastic waste. So like that, for a cab, it has written on-demand cabs. The moment you demand a cab, it's available. Efficient rides, which means that you achieve it at the lowest cost. One tap ride, like you just click, single click, one tap on your mobile phone and you get a ride booked. Ride share, which means that you share your cost with other like-minded customers who are ready to pool in. So this is your product services, and what customer jobs it does. Customer gets service varieties, gets on demand availability. So customer is able to travel at a lowest cost with easy availability. Now, what are the gains to the customer? Low cost, availability, and faster service. And what are the reasons that these gains are created by the value proposition? Is the shorter wait for the rides. Because if you book a Ola Uber and it does not turn out within, say, 10 to 15 minutes time, then you are not going to create this kind of gains for the customer, that is availability or faster service. So that is why, in order to keep the company relevant, Ola or Uber, they should be able to shorter the waits for the ride to ensure a problem solution fit with the customer segment. Then on-demand cab availability is again gain creator. Low prices than taxi are again gain creator, because taxi are normally private taxis, so they are going to charge you higher. And in this case, you are going to have a shared cab, so you may enjoy the lower prices. So that is why lower cost for the customer segment. Now, what are the pains that this particular app has solved for the customer? Processing time was the pain for when customers used to travel to any place. High cost, trustworthy ride, because when we go to say Delhi and we charge for any prepaid taxi, so first is high cost. Second is we were not very trustworthy whether the driver will take us to the right place or whether there would be some kind of a criminal thing would be happening. Security was also an issue. So in this case, we know all track records of the driver, including his name and taxi number, and all of the things are validly mentioned in the app itself. So there is hassle-free processing, cheaper rides, status sharing. You can share your status of the ride, cashless and reliable. So this is how you convert your company ideologies or values and relate it to the customer segment. So let me see if we have any question. So what do you look for when building a team? Building a team is very simple. You just need to look for the same passion. Okay. So if you are like-minded, if you are having the passion for solving something, then that is the first criteria. Second criteria is the skill set. Skill set means if there is one person good at marketing and sales, and another person good at technical skills, so it forms a good mix of the team. Because if you have both people who are the marketing experts and do not have say the technical skills, then you may have to hire someone, and hired person may never be able to work with the same passion what a founder does. So for a startup, it is always good that you should form a team that is passionate, number one. Number second is having the requisite skill set. So if skill set is not there also, no problem, because skill sets can be developed. If you have passion, if you have people with passion in your team, you can always understand what skill set we need to develop, and we can develop with the help of learning and training, right? Okay, so with that, let me move ahead to the customer validation. That is the second phase of my presentation. So here we are going to talk about the product market fit, wherein you will get ready to sell to early evangelists, develop positioning, pivot or proceed. Define on whether you need to pivot or whether you need to proceed in the particular scenario. So this is how we are going to validate a customer, that whether this customer is going to stay with us or they are not going to stay with us. So test your concept early. Don't be afraid to be embarrassed when customers see your product for the first time. You will be embarrassed anyways, because what happens is the first idea which you take up to anyone, it may not be a developed idea. It may be may create an embarrassment for you. But don't worry. A person who starts up on a entrepreneurial journey, uh, it is going to give you many embarrassments in the way. But embarrassment is not the important thing. The important thing is the learning or the kind of refinement that you're going to make to your idea based on that particular interaction. So in the concept development, the most important thing is who will use the product. So we are again coming back to the same concept, customer centric. Who will use the product? Based on that, your concept should be developing. What primary benefits should this product provide? So what is in it for the customer? आखिर कस्टमर को क्या मिलेगा ऐसा जिससे वो आपके कस्टमर के लिए आपके प्रोडक्ट के लिए शेल आउट मनी, मतलब पैसे देने के लिए तैयार हो जाएगा. फाइनली, व्हेन विल दिस प्रोडक्ट बी कंज्यूम्ड? वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वेदर ये साल में एक बार कंज्यूम होता है, वेदर ये 5 साल में एक बार कंज्यूम होता है, वेदर डेली कंज्यूम होता है, वेदर हर घंटे यूज होता है? When? Because that will define whether your concept is scalable or not. How much quantity it will be useful. Whether आप जो आइडिया पे काम कर रहे हो उससे आपको कमर्शियल वायबिलिटी मिलेगी या नहीं मिलेगी. Why mobile phones are so successful? Mobile phones are available with us anytime, anywhere. Now, because of mobile phones, there was one market which dropped. There was one product which got almost a failure. What was that product? Can anybody tell me? I think digital cameras. Digital cameras market went down. Cameras market went down the moment cell phones introduced huge amount of pixels in their cameras. So the camera phones are so good today that you really don't need a digital camera for any kind of coverage. VCDs also, absolutely. The we used to watch videos on the VCDs, but now we are able to do multiple activities with a single mobile phone, which we need not tape recording. We can do recording on a mobile phone. So many things, timers. So we do not need it alarm clock now. We have alarm clock in our mobile phones. Calculator. People have scientific calculator versions are also available in the your mobile phone. So I think I have 3 scientific calculators since my engineering time, but they are kept inside the trunk long below. I have not accessed these calculators since last 5 years because all those calculations I can manage with my mobile phone. So this is how it tells you when will this product be consumed, what primary benefit should this product provide, and who will use the product. Thus a transition from product idea to a product concept will be developed. This is a very important concept because the moment you start working on a startup idea, you may start achieve growth, benefit, you achieve say till point 1, and then you find a discouragement or disappointment. Then you move on to the second stage. You drop from that level. You reach a stage of resignation wherein you find like I don't want to work on this idea. And when you are sliding down, you find some solution which can help you resolve this problem which created disappointment for you. So at this stage you pivot. Pivot means you stay back, you do hold back to the situation, you do not slide further. So the moment you do not slide further, you are going to pivot and going to work towards the next level of solution, that is the fourth. So you reach to the next level and then the cycle repeats consistently on this level, right? So this is how the cycle goes on. So you keep on achieving new things, keep on getting disappointments, keep on resigning from the problems, and keep on pivoting to the right kind of solutions which help you resolve this particular problem. Got it? Okay, so let's move on to the next cycle. Let me see whether yes, every time the cycle repeats. Even if you are at the peak of the your strength, the achievement, this cycle is going to repeat. So if I draw the analogy from Steve Jobs or the people who are on the top of the board in their companies, they do have this kind of cycles repeating for their careers. They may get disappointments due to some reasons. They may resign. They may pivot to some kind of an opportunity that comes their way, and they again rise. So this kind of thing is going to happen. So learning is hard and often frustrating. If you want to become the better version of your own self, if you want to ensure that your idea gets refined to the best possible idea, then these kind of cycles are going to happen. Okay, so product market fit, this is the second stage. Basically the customer is willing to pay. The cost of acquiring new customer is smaller than the profit, which means initially you paid lots of amount in acquiring a customer. You had to go and interview. So for interviewing the customer, you had to shell out some petrol in your vehicle, you have to drive to that area, spend your time. So you spent a lot of time and money while acquiring customer. But at this stage, uh, your customer get developed through an app or maybe through a phone call. So the panchayat associate has got your phone number, and whenever a new customer develops, they just call you up. You need not visit them prior to developing a customer. So which means customer acquisition cost has got reduced. Evidence that market is large enough, which means that all customers are willing to use your product. So with that evidence, you can say that this particular idea is achieved the product market fit. So this cleanliness idea which Akash has shared, if his company is getting requirements from various parts of the city, various parts of the country, various parts of the world, then you can say that yes, you have achieved the scale, which is the third stage. Okay, so growth assumption here is that uh, it's a test how new customers will discover a product or service. Through what engine will you acquire new customers or at affordable cost? So like a single phone number given to the panchayat associate and some simple word of mouth service provided by the people, or you can say simple billboard or a newspaper advertisement can help you grow to a particular level, so that uh, your product or service is accessible by anyone. So that is how learn or pivot is the concept. Pivot means a change in strategy without a change in vision. Vision is long term, which tells you that you have to become a multi-million dollar company in the coming 5 years. And pivot means it's a strategy that you identify the right kind of solution and you pivot to that solution while you change places. Like in Jammu and Kashmir, the solution might be different, but that same solution may not work for Himachal Pradesh. You need to identify the right kind of solution for the Himachal Pradesh, so that you can tune in and pivot to that kind of solution and strategize, so that you can ensure success for your company in the Himachal Pradesh also. Then comes the business model canvas, which I was talking about. So this was like we talked about first, second, then a third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, right? It primarily builds onto three colors. If you can see, I have colored them with three colors. So with this color comes the desirability. Do customers want this particular idea or not? So which customer segments, what value proposition, what people are going to help you as subcontractors, what customer relationships you are going to develop. So all these things are relating to whether people desire it. Do customer want this idea or not? The bottom two lines tell us about viability. What is it worth? Like whether you're going to earn some money out of it or not. If you're going to earn some money, then only it makes sense. If you are not able to make any money, if you're doing for only charitable basis, in that case you have to approach a charitable संस्था जहां से आपको funding मिल सके, like an NGO, right? Then comes the feasibility, which comes from these three parameters. What are the key activities that you perform? What are the key resources that you use? What are the key partners that you have in this particular business? So this can ensure whether you will be able to deliver your solution to the customer or not. So these three DVF are going to define whether your business is going to work or not. If it is desirable, if it is viable, if it is feasible, then only the innovation can be considered. Then only you can say that your idea or solution is innovative. Okay, so let's take this example of Uber. Uh, so which customer segments it is targeting? Passengers and the drivers. Passengers means gets benefited by getting some rides, and drivers gets benefited by getting extra income from their same car which they have bought. Who are the key partners? Drivers who own cars, payment processors, people who process the payment, mapping data providers, and the local authorities. So all these are key partners for running this kind of a business. What are the key value propositions? Taxi on demand, cash-free service, easy to order cab and short wait time, passengers on demand, easy to make additional money for the drivers. So when I say particular color, this is referring to the drivers. Okay, when this particular color, so this is value proposition for the passengers. So 1, 2, 3 we have done. Now fourth is the solution. So key activities that you're going to perform is platform and algorithm development, like your particular application, mobile application and web application development. Marketing to balance supply and demand. So you should ensure that people are aware of the this kind of service, and they are thoroughly marketed so that they are able to use it. Then the driver onboarding. You should be having drivers so that the marketing activity that the customers which get generated, they are able to get the drivers also. So these are the key activities. First is the platform itself, the app, then the bringing in the customers and onboarding the drivers. Then comes the key channels. Okay, so the revenue streams. So revenue streams is pay per ride charges. So which means this is applicable to passengers. So every ride you pay, so that way you are saving on the money of owning a car. So you can enjoy the comfort of a car without owning one. Premium Uber brand, so which means you can drive, you can rather travel in a car which is very premium also, like Mercedes or BMW, in one time kind of concept. Then search pricing is also a concept. So which means whenever there is huge demand, so the pricing may go up. So you may like to travel. So these are three places where the app earns. So per ride they charge something, so they are going to get some money. Then another premium they are going to get. Just give me one moment. Yeah, from here they are going to earn extra money from the people who are going to travel premium, and the search pricing they are going to earn extra money. Then comes the cost structure. So platform development में कितना पैसा लगेगा, sales and marketing में कितना पैसा लगेगा, salaries of employees, driver payments, ये सारा involve करके अब देखना ये है कि अगर ये higher है इससे, then only the business model is going to work. Then what are the key resources? The platform, pricing algorithm, routing algorithm, because this algorithm will decide that these prices are set according to the requirements of the business. Finally, the customer relationships, which are highly automated in this particular Uber model case. So you can develop this kind of model for your own idea. So if I say Akash has to develop his idea, so he needs to put here which customer segments he is targeting. What are the key partners? What value proposition? What are the key activities you are going to perform? What are the revenue streams? How much cost you need? What are the key resources? What are the channels? What are the customer relationships? So with all that, you will be in a position to develop a greater picture or idea of your product, right? Okay, so once we do that, now let's talk about market opportunity and threats. So this data you can get it from easily by googling things. But again, 4 quadrants are defined. Number 1 is legal and regulatory conditions. So whether the laws or regulations in your area help you or defer you from pursuing this kind of a solution. If they help you, then it is fine. If they defer you, which means that you cannot continue with this kind of a profession in your area. Number 2 is economic realities. GDP, disposable income, discretionary income. That is, whether in a village people are ready to shell out money for this kind of a concept. Are they really willing to pay 100 rupees per this thing for that or not? But in metros, it is very much viable. Metros, people say even if you take 500 rupees, it's not a problem, but it should be clean. It should be properly, thoroughly managed. Then comes this, because their disposable incomes are higher in the metros, whereas in a village the disposable incomes might be lower. Then what is the societal focus? Population shifts, values, attitude, competitions, and trends. So societal focuses definitely help you in this kind of an idea which Akash has said. Values, attitude, all these things are going to help. Then the technological development, advancement in technology, market receptiveness to technology, which means that uh, whether an app can be developed, whether a simple phone call should be worked out, whether there should be some kind of algorithm that can be worked out, that if there is, or if there is a camera which gets installed at particular area, so we can identify the people who are spreading the this waste in that particular area, and we can rectify that by taking in confidence the requisite authorities of that particular area, that these are the people who are spreading the waste. So many things can be done. I'm just sorting out some kind of idea. So you need to identify the market opportunities and threats for your kind of idea, whether your kind of idea is going to work or not. Likewise, then we have market placement. Like we have to identify what are your target markets, size and potential. So these all things will come out at a stage when you're going to scale it up. So once you have developed product market fit, then you have to identify, like your initial market or the pilot market, which other markets are going to help you in growing. Okay, how you can easily reach the segment, how you can have good fit with organizational objectives, how you can achieve greatest revenue generation with least investment. Secondly, you determine opportunity in terms of segment size, annual usage potential, anticipated annual growth rate. Like if I expand this model or idea to Delhi, so in Delhi, how much business I'm going to generate, how much revenue I'm going to generate, how much value it's going to be created, what is your margin? Or if I operate in Punjab, say city of Ludhiana, how much I'm going to compare, whether margin is better in Ludhiana or better or in Delhi. So accordingly, you can plan your expansion. Then you evaluate your competition, your strengths, weaknesses, limitations, implications, so that you ensure that there might be other operators which are doing the same kind of work. So how you can be better than others, how you which is a unique value proposition which you offer which others do not offer. So all these concepts are going to help you place your product or idea or service into the market. Then comes the pricing strategies. So goal is to obtain a target profit, because without profit, as I shared, your idea is not going to stay for long. Can you hold a product's manufacturing cost down to less than 25% of its perceived value? So reducing costs is second factor. And third is estimating manufacturing costs, like obtaining price quotes from several suppliers, which means that if you want to organize a auto for garbage collection, then you can talk to various auto wallahs that how much they can quote for the price. So the minimum price quote should be considered as the price quote that should be obtained, right? So that is one of the important strategies that you need to implement. Then comes the prototype development. We have already talked about it, but it is primarily the process of preparing a device, technique, system, or process that demonstrates feasibility of a solution to a problem. For example, experimentation and learning in the product development process, testing and proofing product concepts, communicating concepts to the product development team members, management, and customers. Finally, you do the test marketing. So this we have already talked about, so let's skip it. Then the promotion and product launch. You can achieve publicity through trade journals, newspapers, conferences, personal selling, and word of mouth. So personal selling involves going over to people and telling your product or service and idea and selling it. involving personal people, for just as Byju's does. And word of mouth would be automatic, like the moment you start branding your company or startup, you'll be able to create this word of mouth for your company. Reasons for new product failures uh, typically are poor marketing research, that you did not identify the market segment well, the technical problems of your organization, insufficient marketing effort, bad timing, the wrong group was targeted. Suppose if you start this cleaning exercise in the monsoons, so the moment you clean something and then the rain pours in and everything gets spread, and then you will be having a lot of money spent onto this particular cleanliness effort in the initial phase only. So that can be a bad timing for this kind of a startup. However, in winters or in summer or some other time can be better. Wrong group was targeted, like you targeted a set of people who really did not want it to stay clean. Unrealistic forecast, that you forecasted something which was not realistic, and it ensured product failure. Insufficient level of awareness among the people, that is also a very important concept, because if people are not aware of this kind of a service, that how will they approach you for the service, and your service may not have sufficient number of customers who are going to use it. Discouraging statements for new product ideas, there are many people who put discouraging statements. I think I had been observing in most of the sessions, like there are always some students who keep discouraging uh, others from taking up this. And number one statement is, it won't work here. बहुत बढ़िया है, स्टार्टअप होता है ये दिल्ली वगैरह बैंगलोर वगैरह में हो जाता है, ठीक है, लेकिन जम्मू में तो यहाँ नहीं चलेगा. इट वोंट वर्क हियर. वी हैव ट्राइड इट बिफोर, हमने पहले भी किया, ये होता नहीं है. it is like it is like waste of time. This isn't the right time. मतलब ये कोई सही तरीका टाइम नहीं है इसका. You can do it later on. So this can discourage your product idea. So you wait for some more time, and then you will be able to deliver this particular product idea. This is another discouraging statement. It can't be done straight away. जब आप किसी को कोई आइडिया शेयर करते हो तो वो सीधे आपको बोल देते हैं कि ये हो ही नहीं सकता, can't be done. This is not the way we do things. This is another discouraging statement for a startup idea. जैसे आप किसी के साथ शेयर करते हो तो वो सबसे पहले बोलेगा ऐसे नहीं होती हैं चीजें यहाँ पे. This is not the way we do things. We have done all right without it. मतलब इसके बिना भी हमारा काम अच्छे से चल रहा है. We need not do have this startup idea. It will cost too much. मतलब प्रोडक्ट आइडिया को बनाने के लिए बहुत पैसा लग जाएगा, मेरा पैसा काफी वेस्ट हो जाएगा. So that can be a discouraging statement. Let's discuss it at our next meeting. So delay करना, delaying tactics. So that is all I had to share for my session on achieving product market fit and problem solution fit. I really thank Ritu ma'am and Stephens Institute of Paramedical Sciences and Nursing for inviting me to deliver this impact lecture. Now I'm open to the questions.
They have asked, is there any query, students? Is there any query? I guess they have now learned many things, so they don't have any query left.
I think I kept resolving the queries in the meantime.
Yes, sir, that's why. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for such a remarkable and stupendous session. Your ideas will certainly be beneficial to all the attendees. We are highly obliged. Feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a gift and not giving it. So I would like to invite Mrs. Professor Khima Patient to propose vote of thanks. Over to Khima Patient, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, Ritu. Or you hear him, right? May I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. It gives me immense pleasure to propose vote of thanks. I, Kema Patient, Vice Principal SIPS and Vice President IIC, on behalf of management and IIC members, SIPS, express my gratitude in this impact lecture session. First of all, I would like to thank Almighty who always showers his blessings on us and made this session a successful and wondrous session. I also want to express my gratitude towards our mentor institute, that is MIET, who always guides, supports, and cooperates a lot with us. Whatever we do under their guidance, I want to thank those personalities and under their guidance and without whom this session would not have been a marvelous and the grand session. That is the central figures of this session, the eminent dignitaries, Professor Ashok Aima, ex-Vice Chancellor, Central University, Jammu, and Mr. Parveen Kumar Abrol, Convenor IIC, Assistant Professor, School Management, MIET, Innovation Ambassador, Entrepreneurship Coach, who despite of their busy schedule, devoted their precious time for us. We thank both the dynamic personalities for sharing valuable knowledge and acquainting everyone with such innovative and beneficial topics. Their lecture have added glory to the session. I would also like to thank our esteemed Dr. Kamal Saini, Chairman SIPS, and Mrs. Satvinder Saini, Director City Funds International School, and Mr. Kunal Saini, Director SIPS, for their cooperation, guidance, and support every time. Now I would like to thank the catalyst of the institute, and that is Mr. Manoj Kotru, Administrator SIPS, without whose support this event would not have been successful. I would also like to thank the guiding force of the institute. She is our honorable principal, Professor Monida. She always supports the faculty and inspires us all. Now I would like to thank Ms. Ritu Gupta, Associate Professor, SIPS, and IIC President, SIPS, who always worked assiduously to make this session grand and successful. I would also like to thank all the IIC members of the SIPS who always work dedicatedly. I would also like to thank Ms. Joyce B. Singh, Assistant Professor SIPS, who also shares her knowledge and participates. I would also like to thank all the benevolent faculty members and officials of different institutes and colleges. My thanks goes to all administration staff, faculty members, and their students of SIPS for making this session successful. I would also like to thank media icons of SIPS who always work hard to make this event a grand and successful. I also thank Mr. Dhruv and Mr. Sahil, IT expert, who helped us in the whole session. Last but not the least, I thank all the attendees for devoting their valuable time and making this event successful. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, nice day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. I'll just share my email ID in the chat section. So if any students want to discuss with their idea, they can send in an email to me with their idea, so you can help mentor them. And at the same time, I'll be sharing this Word file which Ashok Aima sir has shared with me, which talks about 31 business opportunities for nursing professionals. And I'll be sharing two tools, business model canvas and value proposition canvas, so that you'll be able to use these tools by simply taking a print. Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
all.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so
sir.
much, sir. You always act as scaffolding for we people. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
man.
you.
Thank you all. Thank you. Take
Uh,
all.
I
Bless
hope
you all.
all the I hope all the attendees have enhanced their knowledge now. Feedback form will be sent to your email, and you will receive that certificate of participation. Thank you all. Thank you once again.